This is a podcast from the Daily Grind. To get all the news delivered straight to your ear, visit our Facebook page or download our app. Now, here's today's audio newspaper.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Grind, everybody. Today is the evening of Thursday, the 20th of October. I am Ankit Prasad, and this is the Spent Special. We'll begin with cricket. A couple of matches are going on at the moment. India is taking on New Zealand in the second of 5 ODIs in Delhi, and the Kiwis went into bat first. Kane Williamson scored 118, but the rest of his side didn't do all that well, as they were 236 for 8 with just about an over to go when we recorded this. And not far away, in Bangladesh, the hosts are squaring off against England in the first of 2 test matches, this one in Chittagong. England went into bat first, and it went okay at best. They've closed day 1 with 258 runs on the board. In early and awesome football news, Bangalore FC have become the first Indian club to reach the final of the AFC Cup. They'd held a slender advantage from the first leg in Malaysia against defending champions Johor Darul Ta'zim, having drawn 1-1. In Bangalore, the visitors went 1-0 up, but then Sunil Chhetri scored 2 goals on the bounce before Juan Antonio Gonzalez Fernandez added a third. So Bangalore won 4-2 in the end and will meet Iraqi side Al Quwa Al Jawaya in the final of Asia's second club competition on the 5th of November. As a mercy to our non-football fan listeners, we'll come back to football at the end of this show. And in tennis, it's between Svetlana Kuznetsova and Johanna Konta for the final berth in the WTA finals. Kuznetsova has to win the Kremlin Cup, which she's contesting at the moment. She's reached the quarterfinal. In sports entertainment, Goldberg has returned to the wrestling ring in the latest episode of Monday Night Raw. It's been 12 years apparently, and he's back to challenge Brock Lesnar to one last fight. It's time for entertainment proper now. First up is the trailer for Aamir Khan's Dangal. It begins with Aamir Khan reminiscing about his old wrestling career and telling his wife, Parvati Bhabhi, of his unfulfilled dreams. He has 4 daughters, and he says that he's fond of them, but he wishes he had a son as well who could get a wrestling gold for his country. But his daughters turn out to be ruffians, and so his eyes open, and he makes a wrestling pit and trains them. So they make it big, and they go places, and Aamir Khan has the biggest ears we've ever seen. That's Dangal, and it releases on December the 23rd. The next trailer is for Alia Bhatt and SRK's starrer, Dear Zindagi. SRK kicks it off by telling Alia about playing kabaddi against the sea. Then the two of them are riding cycles in Goa with some amount of success, sharing their desires in life. This looks cool. It's called Dear Zindagi, and doubtlessly there'll be more trailers before the film releases on the 25th of November. And also in trailers, we can expect the first look at S.S. Rajamouli's Bahubali 2, The Conclusion, at the Mumbai Film Festival, which is this weekend. And then it'll probably also release online. Now, we return to Bollywood besieged at the hands of some pretty disgusting politics. Filmmakers Karan Johar and Anurag Kashyap have said some things about the threat against the release of Ae Dil Hai Mushkil. Karan Johar, backed into a corner by the haters, has had to issue a statement, which he did via a video. He said a couple of things: that he shot the movie at the end of last year when relations weren't that bad. Had he known, he would not have engaged artists from Pakistan. That he's a patriot, but 300 people have worked on this movie and are relying on its release. It was an emotional statement and he didn't have to make it, but what can he do, because the moronic M&S plans to keep their promise of vandalizing multiplexes who screen the film on 28th October, which is its release day. The police has assured the makers of its protection though. Also, while Karan Johar defends, Anurag Kashyap is attacking. He moved over to Facebook to justify his earlier tweets aimed at the Prime Minister, and he did a pretty good job of detailing his arguments. And yeah, why can't the Prime Minister shut the goons up for intimidation? Also, Bangladeshi writer Taslima Nasreen has appealed to people to not target artists, equating the ideology with Hitler and not to mention Voldemort's pure blood mania. In other controversial things, Priyanka Chopra has apologized for the Condé Nast magazine cover controversy. She was given the shirt to wear by the magazine people, and they insisted and whatnot, and she didn't mean to hurt any sentiments and all that. But in any case, it was a good bit of marketing, and the magazines are flying off the shelves. Returning to Pakistan, our neighbors also have a famous chaiwala now, and he's better looking than Modi. He's a blue-eyed guy called Arshad Khan from Islamabad who Twitter went nuts over. Some say he could even be Pakistan's nuclear weapon. And he's got a modeling gig now as per reports. Over in Hollywood meanwhile, We're starting big with the first trailer for one of the films we're most excited about, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's a teaser, so there's basically a collection of scenes mostly set to one of the songs from the previous film, Hooked on a Feeling. There's Star-Lord standing on the precipice of some construct in space, Gamora jumping off a roof, Rocket and Yondu walking through a Ravager ship, Nebula being unhooded, and some kind of space battle. They seem to at one point land on a planet with trees. And then there's a touching moment when Drax the Destroyer gives Star-Lord a hug, and it all ends with a baby Groot on Rocket's shoulder. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 releases on the 5th of May, and there's a new poster too, which is very rock bandish. Also from the Marvelverse, the trailer for the final Wolverine film will come out today. That's called Logan. Next up is the trailer for Assassin's Creed. It begins with Michael Fassbender locked up in a facility on his birthday. Soon some people are talking about how his bloodline extends back to the Assassin's Creed. This is in the future, and Marion Cotillard is going to channel his assassin ancestor into him. He goes back to or sees the Spanish Inquisition, and as a result, he too becomes a trained assassin. He's got friends as well, and they listen to rock music, dive off towers, and throw knives. Assassin's Creed releases on December the 21st. In what can also be viewed as a trailer, Duracell has a new Star Wars themed ad out, much like the ad last year before The Force Awakens release that guessed that there may be something about Rey. In this, a girl who's definitely like Felicity Jones's character powers up an R2-D2 droid with a Duracell battery and is charged with returning him to the rebellion. She gets help on the way and they manage to complete their task. It's a nice ad. If you like volcanoes, and a lot of people do, there's a new trailer for a documentary by Werner Herzog called Into the Inferno. They're tracking one of the biggest volcanoes ever, and it takes them into what's definitely North Korea and some other places. Into the Inferno comes out on October the 28th. Also in documentaries, there's one called The 24-Hour War, which is about Ford versus Ferrari at the 24-hour Le Mans, which if you wanted to win, you had to be ready to die apparently. Ferrari were the perennial winners until Ford came out with the GT40, and that's when it all started. It's the golden age of racing, 24-Hour War, and it releases in November. In assorted film and TV news, there's a new Fantastic Beasts app, we're told, so you may want to check that out. Then, Michael B. Jordan is coming back to TV. The Friday Night Lights star from when the show had crossed its peak is going to move from American football to basketball now, having conquered boxing along the way, in a series called Apollo Park. Leonardo DiCaprio, meanwhile, is going to do a film about Captain Planet, but this isn't going to be the Captain Planet in his prime. He's a washed-up has-been in this one. And Hugh Grant has joined the cast of Paddington 2, which is to arrive in just over a year. It's a part animated, part live-action film about a Peruvian bear based on a book called Paddington Bear. Coming to music, apparently the Nobel Committee can't get a hold of Bob Dylan. This is several days after they announced he'd won the Nobel Prize for Literature. He's busy performing at various shows, but he's not issued a statement or anything like that. He's invited to the gala on the 10th of December, where he'll have to give a speech and receive his award. But even if he doesn't come, they'll have a grand party anyway, is what the Nobel Prize Committee have said. Then, another music legend, Chuck Berry, who is 90 years old now, has announced his first album in 38 years. It's called Chuck, and he's dedicated it to his wife of 68 years, Temata Berry. They're all new songs apparently, and now he's done. President Obama has released his workout playlist from his Wired magazine issue on Spotify. There are 10 songs in it, and it starts with the Black Eyed Peas' Let's Get It Started. And Eminem has said that he's working on a new album, and he's teased it with a little rap bit which is classic Eminem. Coming to other things to look forward to, Nintendo is going to be revealing its new and mysterious NX gaming console later today. That's going to be both big and revolutionary, we think. And among our favorite things in the world, the Bugle podcast, having fired John Oliver, is returning on the 24th of this month. There's a new logo which gives away Andy Zaltzman's nefarious goal to conquer the world by dousing it in bullshit. That's the Bugle, and it's the greatest thing on earth. We'll end this episode with 2 nights worth of football and the Champions League. On the first game night, probably the biggest result was Leicester City winning yet again. They beat a visiting Copenhagen by 1 Riyad Mahrez goal to 0. In the same group, Porto came back from a goal down at Club Brugge to win 2-1 with a last-minute penalty from Andre Silva. So after 3 games, Leicester have all but qualified with all 9 points. Copenhagen and Porto are joint second with 4 each, and Bruges have 0. Another English club, Tottenham Hotspur, also did quite well, escaping from Germany with a draw, 0-0 versus Bayer Leverkusen. CSKA Moscow were also denied a home win by Bernardo Silva's last-minute equaliser for Monaco. Monaco have 5 points, Tottenham 4, Leverkusen 3 and CSKA 2. In another tight group, a 10-man Juventus beat Lyon in France with a late goal by Juan Cuadrado. Lyon had missed a penalty too earlier and will be cursing themselves. In the same group, Samir Nasri scored the only goal for Sevilla at Dinamo Zagreb. So Juventus and the Europa League winners Sevilla are on top with 7 points each, Lyon have 3 and Zagreb 0. And in the last of the first night's groups, holders Real Madrid beat Liga Warsaw 5-1 at the Bernabeu. Ronaldo did not score. And Dortmund beat Sporting Lisbon by 2-1 in Lisbon. So Madrid and Dortmund are on top with 7 points each, Sporting have 3 and Liga Warsaw 0. Then last night, in the biggest result, Barcelona ran riot against their old coach Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Lionel Messi scored a hat-trick in the Nou Camp on a night when both teams had a player each sent off. Neymar added the 4th. In the same group, Borussia Mönchengladbach defeated Celtic 2-0. So Barca have a full 9 points, City 4, Mönchengladbach 3 and Celtic 1. Another Spanish side also have 9 points out of 9. Atletico Madrid beat FC Rostov in Russia with the red-hot Yannick Ferreira Carrasco getting the only goal. And over in Germany, Müller, Kimmich, Lewandowski and Robben each scored a goal against PSV Eindhoven, who got 1 back. After perfect Atleti, Bayern have 6 points, PSV and Rostov have 1 each. In the pre-final group, Napoli were beaten at home by Besiktas, which is an incredible result. Vincent Abubakar scored 2 goals as the Turkish side won 3-2. And Benfica beat Dinamo Kiev 2-0. So Napoli have 6 points, Besiktas 5, Benfica 4 and Dinamo Kiev 1. And last of all, Arsenal ran rampant over a visiting Ludogorets. Mesut Ozil got 3 goals as his side hit 6 without return. And in Paris, PSG beat Basel 3-0. So Arsenal and PSG have 7 points each and Basel and Ludogorets have 1 each. In tonight's action, Manchester United host Fenerbahce and Robin van Persie tonight at Old Trafford in the Europa League. So that's one to look out for at midnight. And with that, we're at the end of this episode. This has been The Daily Grind and I'm Ankit Prasad.
This is a podcast from The Daily Grind. To get all the news delivered straight to your ear, visit our Facebook page or download our app.